Joined by Dereham Town manager Tom Park after today's 2-0 defeat against Bedworth United. Toasty, you have a wonderful head of hair and you must be pulling it out right now. What cost you today?
Not allowed to say that, am I? I think, am I? No, I don't think I can.
How do you sum up the performance?
Can't say it. I think it was they had one shot the whole game plus a penalty, which I think we'd all agree wasn't, including their manager, who was great, by the way, loved him. And we had a lot, and we keep going over it. Now it's time for me to maybe look at personnel and find the end product. And law of averages, we keep creating chances and not letting many against us will do all right. And hence why we win 2, lose 2, win 1, lose 1. We're like that, aren't we, at the minute? We're quite inconsistent, and the football's about both boxes. So, I'm 11 games in. I learnt a lot about people, and now I've got to tinker the squad, I think, a little bit in the certain areas.
So a tenuous link. If this was a boxing match, in that first half especially, I think the ref would have stopped the fight. You were on top with possession, with chances, with quality of football. And I think you just answered the question, but is it fair to say that we're still missing that knockout punch? And if so, where'd you get it from?
Yeah, we feel like a bit of a stuck record, really, because like we said about this in the summer, like it's so hard when you get a job where everyone's signed everywhere, if you know what I mean. And like, no offence, you get a budget, and that was at the point where you can't really bring anyone else in. And obviously what we've done is had to move some people around and away that were on maybe money that isn't warranted at this level for the productivity that, because if you're on big money, you need productivity, right? Got to warrant your money, haven't you? So we've got to find the guy with the golden boot, is what I would say. And then we're the other end of the table, because our performances, bar Saturday, which wasn't a very good performance, have been out of 11 games. I think we think it would be fair to say we've had 9 exceptional performances out of 11. 2 horrendous ones at Daventry and Boldmere.
Is it fair to say you're missing a striker? Would that be top of your wish list?
I think it'd be unfair on the current playing squad to be saying that it's about a certain position, but I would say collectively we are missing somebody in a position that gets 30 goals, which I know everyone says 30 goals, but when I say 30 goals, I mean 30 tap-ins, because as you watched, we have a lot of chances that go across the 6-yard box.
It all seemed to happen in the second half. Let's break it down. We had an injury to Jacob Skinner. How is he?
Terrible. Worse than that. Well, if you look at our week, right, last 10 days, we had Aaron Powell get elbowed in the head in front of the linesman and the referee. That was not a card given. He's out for 3 weeks with concussion, with a massive bump on his head. Him gone. Defender. We then get Rich Black, knee, couldn't complete the warm-up. Our biggest aerial threat centre-half out in the warm-up. We then get Chris Greenslade, red card last game. We get Jacob Skinner, ankle today. And then Alfie Mattix, who was unbelievable on his debut, by the way, got the most horrific red card I have seen in the history of red cards. And I have to apologise to the boy publicly because he had the perfect debut ruined. So I feel for the kid. So that's our situation. Like every club will have in their year, they go through a sticky patch where they have unavailability and injuries. We're in ours, but we're still producing more than that, and you just have to stick to it and maybe sign people. And that game model will win games, because we don't let many chances against us and have quite a lot.
We've mentioned injuries and we mentioned the sending off. How about the penalties? 1 given to them, 1 not given to us. I can tell by your face what you're going to say. Any thoughts on it?
No. No thoughts. No thoughts. You can probably see there's a lot of thoughts, but I can't speak.
And if we'd have been given our penalty, it may well have been a different game.
I was dive in it. Got to be a dive, hasn't it? Because they didn't touch the ball. So I'm just probably questioning why my lad didn't get booked. Is that right or not? I think.
We always like to finish on something a little bit light-hearted. My favourite quote from you today that I can repeat prior to the penalties and the sending off is, defend like an Italian, not like a Brazilian. What do you mean by that?
When we lost Rich Black in the water, I mean, every team in this league, coming from me, who isn't very big, they are meatheads, like in every team. So, like, again, today, we lose Rich Black in our warm-up, and we're then not very big, and they're massive. So we talked about, obviously, not giving corners, long throws, and terrible free kicks away. And we just had a little bit of a moment in the first half where we were giving a few needless free kicks away. So I said, like, defend like an Italian, well, not like a Brazilian, where you're like, go and try and ninja kick somebody. And that was all it was, really.
So we're about an hour post-match. What did you say to the guys at the end of the game, which must have been your hardest team talk in terms of picking them up from what was a very good performance?
Keep doing it. That's up to me to sort the solution out. So the solution is we need new personnel in certain areas. So I have to go and find that, don't I? And it goes back to our original issue, which is everyone signed everywhere. So the old Craig David 7 days has got to come back out. Our loans or sell Dale and pay for a striker.
The under-18s are in action this coming Friday in the FA Youth Cup. They're almost there. You must be proud, delighted, almost like a proud parent of the progress of some of those players. We've seen a few. Alfie is one of them that's come through. How many of those do you think are ready to come through?
I think a lot of them are ready. I think the issue is you can't put them all in at the same time because they're not, they'll get ragdolled and used like toothpicks. So you have to blood them in slowly and at the right times. You used Alfie as a good example today. He fits the system that we play. He has done a good apprenticeship for not only Poor England in the Anglian Com getting kicked lumps out of, but a good over a year for Sheringham, which Hallers and Cedric and everyone have done an amazing job with him. And I think that was highlighted by his performance in the FA Cup against Lowestoft. And I thought he was outstanding today. So that's a no-brainer. You've got Dano White, who's injured, Kai, whose shoulder popped out of joint. I mean, we forgot to remember all of them who are injured as well at the minute. You've obviously got Harvey Gillam, who come on today, and another 16-year-old. I'm obviously going to miss someone again, aren't I? Charlie Marshall, etc. So yeah, the list goes on. They're all in and around, and that's what ultimately our club needs to stand for. Because as I keep mentioning before, we need to build a football club and facilities and everything else. And yes, we have to stay in this league, of course, but we need to do it in the right way.
Unlucky today. I think we all share your frustrations at some of the events that happened this afternoon. Next Saturday, it all starts going away to Coleshill Town. Injuries aside, is the team in your mind if you want to play next Saturday?
Well, we don't have any defenders available. I think one. Two red cards, and the rest, I think 4 injured. So we'll just have to play like Barcelona and play midfielders at the back and pass it like today. I thought they were a joy to watch today at times. Yes, of course, you have to put the ball in the net. I get that. I'm not preaching whatever, but I thoroughly enjoyed to watch that. I thought Henry Clark, who was asked at the last minute, at the last second before they went out, who's an attacking midfielder, went centre half, was absolutely outstanding. So no need to panic, no need to get down, no need to get too up. Stick at it. And we're actually training on a 3G on a Wednesday night. So for me, I said this when I first come in, if I can leave it in a better place for somebody else, that's all I'm here to do. Because the old managers will tell you maybe a bit of frustration from them was the training at the back's horrendous. Couldn't train on the pitch in certain parts of the year because you can't mess the pitch up. For the first time, we're now on a 3G for an hour and a half, and we can work on stuff that doesn't go very well. So little things are making real big strides off the pitch. And we've got some really, really, really good young players at this football club, like really good. So it is positive. It's easy to look at the negatives. So stop having an English mentality and being negative and doom and gloom, and let's find the positives.
And there sounds like loads of positives. Unlucky today. Good luck next weekend.
Hopefully we're not at home, and maybe I can't say it, can I? I'm not allowed to. No, I won't say it. I've never been booked, nor will I ever get suspended. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
And long may it continue.
Everyone knows what I'm thinking.